Red Wings, Maple Leafs, Penguins, Capitals, Golden Knights, Seattle, Kraken going head-to-head. Andrew, Prez, and Andy Lang. Looking forward to breaking down some games for you here on a Friday morning. We're also going to have some props, and we're also going to continue to climb the ladder with Carmine's Ladder Challenge, and he'll try and win the Ladder Challenge with a best bet today. Prez, good morning to you, my friend. How are you, and what are your thoughts on the Red Wings and Maple Leafs game?
Well, Andrew, thank you for having me. I'm excellent. First and foremost, I'm going to the Leaf game tonight. And I'm going with Johnny Detroit, who is the one of the owners of WagerTalk and the operations manager. So Johnny and his team get to decide who is on the brick and what the promotions are going to be, and basically the handicappers, if they lick tochus, as they say, can make more sales. So I'm going to the game with Carm and Johnny, and Carm bought a Detroit Red Wings shirt. So he's going to sit there with Johnny, who lives in Detroit, and I asked Carm if he's going to be doing a reach around in the in between periods in the washroom on Johnny. So that should be an interesting night. As for how the hell to bet this game, uh, I think the Leafs are going on a run, and I know Austin Matthews is day to day, but I think this is a bad. Firstly, let me tell you right off the bat, I don't think highly of this Detroit Red Wings team. I actually, when I came in to the start of the start of the season, I thought the Red Wings were going to be better than they are. And yeah, look, 6-5 record. I just don't think they have enough guns to keep pace with playoff teams in this league. I just don't think they're a team that's going to score a lot. And I think the Leafs are one of those high-scoring teams, with or without Austin Matthews. We saw that against Boston. This team is loaded with talent up and down the lineup. We know I'm a homer, but I think this is a good spot to bet Toronto. This Toronto team has really not played very well at all. They just beat Boston, and before that, they lost 2 out of 3 and 5 out of 8. A winning streak is due, and they're playing a Detroit Red Wing team that just won 2 in a row. I don't think Detroit wins 3 or 4 games in a row that many times this season. I think they're a mediocre team at best. I think the Toronto Maple Leafs get it done. I think they get it done in regulation, and I wouldn't be surprised if the game goes under the total as well, Andrew. I think Detroit will be held to less than 2 goals tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a 4-1 score.
All right, 4-1. Love when you give out those score predictions, Prez, because you've been bang on sometimes on PuckTime, dating back years ago when I first started nailing some of those predictions. But the number I'm seeing in regulation at where I shop is -120. You guys can, of course, shop around to get the best number possible. But Prez, looking at the Leafs in regulation here, and I do hope you guys have a great time. That's going to be a really fun time on a Friday night, and it's great that Johnny came to see you guys. I actually wanted to go see Johnny this year and see Habs versus Red Wings, but both games fell in like December 20th and 21st. It was
so
too close to Christmas.
Would you have worn a Red Wings jersey, given that you're a Habs fan and
no.
you need to lick tochas? You would have
No
worn
way.
a Habs jersey.
No way. No way. Then again, if I'm in Detroit, I might need protection wearing the other team's jersey.
Hey,
but
don't imply that Detroit are a bunch of rowdy hooligans.
What did you say?
Don't imply that Detroit is a bunch of rowdy hooligans. I think you'll be very safe at a Detroit Red Wings game wearing a Montreal Canadiens shirt, especially given that you're 7'8".
And I'll have Johnny with me. That'll always help. Andy,
Yeah,
I'm happy to have you on PuckTime. How's the season going for you so far? Anything you're noticing? And are you betting any player props on this game with the Leafs and the Wings?
So I do not have any client plays for tonight, so we'll just go over some free plays. If you guys want to sprinkle them, go ahead, but none of these actually made the card. This one may have been the closest one. Max Domi, no point, started off the year with 6 points in 6 games, hasn't had a point in 8 straight. Detroit's defense, not bad. 11th in goals allowed. So top half, no points in the last 3 games against Detroit for him. And he's only getting like 14 minutes and 37 seconds time on ice. That includes last game. So that was the last game kind of in particular is kind of telling you a little bit about where he's at. That was a 4-0 victory. He's 22 shifts, 14 minutes, only 2 shots on goal. So he's not really involved in a whole lot. So that would be a prop that I would look at. Pretty decent price as well.
Well, and he's playing with some pretty talented players. Right? You know, he's surrounded by a lot of great players, going to get all kinds of opportunities. A good price on that one. Guys, for me, I do like the over in this game. I do think there's going to be some goals here. It seems like recent history when these teams get together, we do kind of see some fireworks here. But the big thing for me is this, and I love this, and I'm sure Prez, as a Leafs guy, will like this. Apparently, yesterday's practice, Maple Leaf practice, was extremely intense. A lot of shouting, a lot of stick banging, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of pissed off coaches, and they just had a 4-0 shutout victory in their previous game. It's a real big hump the Maple Leafs are trying to get over right now for these mental lapses, right? You beat a team, you beat your rival, the Boston Bruins, 4-0. Now you're playing a Red Wings team that's not nearly as highly talked about, not nearly as good. And now you got to stay at that same level, not drop down to their competition, stay at that same level. I keep on saying there's a reason why Tampa Bay Lightning have been so good over the years is because they would feast on bad teams. A bad team came to play them, they would dominate them. And it's really important that good teams do that. And I think it does help the Maple Leafs case that they're only 3-3 their last 6 games. I do agree with Prez. The Maple Leafs are going to go on a run. But I think both teams are going to contribute to the score in this one. I mean, look at the score. I mean, the fact of the matter is the Red Wings only give up 1 goal against the Sabres, 1 goal against the Blackhawks. They're playing a hell of a lot better of a team tonight than the Blackhawks and the Sabres. So I think this game at 6 versus a 6.5 is really nice here. And some of the recent numbers defensively for this Red Wings team have probably been because of the teams they've been playing and not as much actually credit towards their defense. And I'm curious to see after a shutout victory how this Maple Leafs team can follow up their defensive play. But over 6 for me, we got Max Domi for Andy Lang, and we got Leafs in reg for the Prez. Guys, I appreciate all of you being here with us on this Friday of Puck Time. One thing I've been saying lately is don't forget about the smaller slates. And it's a goal for me and my clients this season to not forget about the Mondays, the Wednesdays, Fridays, even Sundays, right? We're all betting NFL football. There's still hockey going on, right? And so just because there's 13 games on Thursday night and there's a handful on Friday, you might have had the best bet ever you would have been making all week and just not even looked at NHL because it wasn't a busy slate. So do not forget about Fridays. We appreciate you being here with us. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel. The WagerTalk TV channel continues to grow in a big, big way, and it wouldn't happen without all of you guys being with us. Andy, over to you. This is a rivalry game. This is a game that a matchup that I just loved watching ever since I was young. Pittsburgh versus Washington. I'm afraid for, I don't know how much longer we're going to have the Ovechkin and Crosby rivalry, but while we still have it, what do you have for us in the prop betting market?
Well, I feel great about this game. I had a great practice today. I was yelling at myself. I was like banging things around. I love the stories of the we had a great practice. It's right behind players only meeting. I just love. It's like, oh, now we're gonna try. We had a good practice. We haven't been trying, but this practice really made.
Well, they're a good team, Andy. They need a mental coach. I mean, that's the end of the day with the Leafs, though. I know you're laughing, but it's true. I mean, they need to not have letdown spots. Seriously, I'm not joking around. I think it's real.
No, I know, but they had a great practice. They're gonna go on a run. Like what? So,
Who said that?
yeah, what's that?
Who said that?
Were you paying attention?
Who said that they had a good practice and they're going to go on a run?
Andrew just talked about that.
Yeah, they're had a good practice. He said it was intense. It was an intense practice.
It's
That
all
means they're
good.
gonna
It's all
win.
good.
That means they're gonna win then. All right. I got a best bet in the show. I'll save it for the end. Take a look at Michael Bunting over 1.5 shots on goal. I was playing him to not have a point, which hit several times, but I was watching him. He's actually pretty involved with some of the scoring. I cashed a couple bets on him and I walked away feeling pretty lucky. This guy's gone over in 10 out of 14 games. And the last game that he didn't go over this, he only had one shot on goal, but he had two missed shots. So chalk that one up to just a little bit unlucky. He comes back with that and goes over. So Michael Bunting's kind of a sleeper guy, and I love these shots on goal. That's 1.5, Andrew. I don't like the 2.5 ones. It's just like, why is it easier? Why is it so much easier to get two than that third one that just always seems to like be the brutal one? So yeah, Michael Bunting over 1.5 shots on goal.
Yeah, those 1.5s are really nice, Andy. It's just a lot better. And sometimes there's a little bit of a price difference there, but if they don't move them to 2.5, you want to keep firing. And it says something bad about the Pittsburgh Penguins and their team if we're giving out Michael Bunting props, but that's how the Pittsburgh Penguins are doing this season so far. Prez, I've always loved this rivalry, but rivalry games and entertaining games doesn't mean there's betting value. But what do you think in this one, side or total?
Andrew, look, this is a tough game. I mean, first and foremost, I think the Washington Capitals are not as good as their record. They've started the season exceptional, 9-3. I'm very impressed. I don't think they go 9-3 every 12 games moving forward. I think we have a situation where they might be at the top of their market price, which means it's time to sell. Pittsburgh is 5-8 on the season, and it feels about right. I'm not a big Pittsburgh Penguins fan. But with that said, it's plus 140. And Sydney loves to beat Ovechkin. Head to head, it has not gone. I mean, it's pretty close to even here. Over there, close to 20 years of playing. It's pretty close to even. I have to take Pittsburgh here at plus 140. I'm not going to get to the window on this game, but man, it feels like the Capitals are about to regress. And I want to try to jump in front of that ahead of time. But 9-3 start for Washington, that's just not indicative of how good they're going to be. I would take the Penguins plus 140 here.
Yeah, that's the thing, Prez. Like I told myself going into the season that I don't want to be a guy that jumps in front of streaks too many times, and I tried to do it a couple days ago against the Capitals with the Preds. Sometimes there's like a matchup where you think like, okay, is this team going to continue to play how they're playing right now, or are they going to go back to being the team that we all thought they were going to be? And at this point, this Capitals team is pretty good. I gave out McMichael to get a point on the show last time the Capitals played, and he's like minus 120, minus 110, and he's just consistently been there. Ovechkin's playing well, and the goaltending's been pretty good for this Capitals team as well. But when it comes down to it, when I have a Pittsburgh Penguins team that's playing some of the games they're playing lately, when I look at some of their recent games, I'm just not impressed again with them defensively. They had 2 games go under. You play again, and you give up so many chances. For me, whenever these teams go head-to-head, it seems to be goals. It seems to be a lot of goals, but I'm going to go ahead and just isolate the Capitals team total over 3.5. I think that if this game has any chance of going over, it's because the Capitals are scoring, and I think that a really underlying problem for this Pittsburgh team isn't as much the depth of their offense. It's actually the fact they have aging defensemen. And I don't care if their defensemen are flashy like Letang and Carlson. It's a real issue with some of the turnovers that they're creating and some of the odd man rushes coming the other way. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the team total up and over 3.5 for the Capitals. Good spot for them here on a Friday night. Guys, I've got 2 props for the prop playbook segment here. It's been going pretty well this week. We cooled off a tiny bit, but overall, large scale. This season, this prop segment's been great. And before I jump into it, I will say it's the final 24 hours of my 7-day NHL special. Use that promo code PUCK7. PUCK7 gets you NHL 7-day pass for $7 a day, $49 of my NHL. We're off a 3-in-1 day yesterday. We had a 5% play, so feeling pretty good in the NHL. But the first play we're going to look at is Brandon Montour of the Seattle Kraken against the Vegas Golden Knights to record an assist. And I think that this is the best bet here because this is a defenseman that is constantly activating, constantly jumping into the rush. And his point prop is like close to even money, but you're going to get some really nice plus money on Brandon Montour to get an assist. That price is plus 135. And a lot of times I look at recent history, I look at matchups, I look at how they match up against their opponent. When it comes down to it, they're off a miserable road trip. First game back at home, they're going to be desperate, and they're playing a Golden Knights team that I think might be satisfied right now. And this Kraken team, I think, needs goals and needs points ASAP. They need their defenseman to help out. 4 straight games for him against Vegas. He has at least a point. We're going to go with the assist prop there. And here's a big trend. 8 of this guy's last 9 games, he's gone over 2.5 shots on goal. That guy's name is Chris Letang. Cannot believe that. 8 of his last 9 games gone over 2.5 shots on goal. Don't forget about some of these guys on the bad teams for player props, guys. Chris Letang, and this one's plus 135. Are you kidding me? He's on a huge streak right now, and we're getting plus money on this one with Chris Letang. So those are my 2 props, guys, on this small Friday NHL slate. And don't forget about that promo code PUCK7, 7 days of NHL plays for $49. All right, I mentioned in the prop segment the Seattle Kraken and Vegas Golden Knights game. Andy, what are your thoughts on this one? Do you have any props for us or any side or total thoughts, Vegas and Seattle?
Yeah, we got a couple here. Who doesn't love a prop at minus 182? You're welcome, everybody.
Me, I don't. Me.
Well, I have to bring it up. It's Oliver Bjorkstrand over 1.5 shots on goal, 12 out of 13 games. So it's just like rinse and repeat. And but the reason I bring this up, he's landed on 2 shots 9 times. So Andrew, they're getting ready to move this to 2.5. He keeps hitting this over and over. But as soon as they move it to 2.5, you just go right back to the under. This is like one of those plays that I just love because no matter what number the books put it at, there's going to be a way to play it. So I'll bring that one up. William Karlsson to have a point. He's got a point in all 5 of his games this season. So I would those are 2 that I would look at. Yeah, the Borgstrand has been really good to me. I played that a couple times for clients. It's hit every single time. So Nobody thinks there's value in minus 182, but when it hits 12 out of 13 times, I don't think we're going to get that number too many more times.
Yeah, those 1.5s are interesting. Another guy in that game, Andy, that's interesting with 1.5 is Noah Hannafin, defenseman for Vegas. He's at 1.5. I mentioned him a few times. He never really was that offensive of a guy, and that's the thing is like, again, the winning clip that you need in order to hit at these prices obviously changes versus a 120 or minus 110. But if it's hitting at a great rate, you keep playing it. You got to love those 1.5 shot props. And guys, you can get all of Andy's NHL player props at WagerTalk.com. Also some great packages available. Prez, I'm sure you're in for a big weekend across multiple sports, but we'll get to some promotional stuff shortly. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, before I get into that, I want to address something that the Sean Richards guy wrote in the chat room. He writes, I used to be a paid subscriber. Thank you. But in my opinion, the way you're going to get my business back is to not give picks that blatantly serve the book well. What? So is he implying that the book calls us before the show and they're like, yo, you know the 4,000 people who watch your show? Can you tell them to bet this minus 180 prop so that we could take them for everything they have? Like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Anyway, Sean, I want you to send me whatever drug you're on. I love drugs. I was high last night. I'll be high again tonight. I'm game. I'm willing to try whatever you take. It seems like it's working wonders. I'll do it even with you, bro. Come over. Let's get high together and come up with some idiotic statements like that.
Prez, I want to
Really?
do edibles with you. I want to watch a
Ed-
movie that you think is hilarious, and I want to do edibles. I think it'd be awesome.
A fish called Wanda. Do you remember that scene? Do you know that movie, or am I
Jesus. Oh
too
my
old?
God. Oh my God.
Am I
Yeah,
too
No, I
you
old?
don't know that.
you definitely dated yourself with that reference.
Well, I would date myself anyway. Freaking look at me, bro. What game are we talking about?
I'll
Vegas.
jump in real quick, and then we'll go back to
Vegas.
you, Prez. I
Vegas. Right?
yeah,
We're
look,
talking about
yes,
Vegas. I like the
yes.
over. I like the over,
Okay.
and I like the over a fair amount. So when the sports book called me earlier this morning, they're like, give the over out, but give it out like, you know how the kids talk? I like the over low key. I low key
Okay.
like
Okay.
the over. Like I see the over as a bit mid. And maybe it's fire. It could be fire. Uh Anyway, over 6. Come on, guys. This Vegas team, 10-3 to the over. Why are we over thinking this? They just scored 4, 4, 3, 5, 7, 6, and 6. Hello? 4, 4, 3, 5, 7, 6, and 6. They're playing Seattle. I get it. They put up 2 ducks and a 1 in 3 of their last 4 games. They also scored 3 against Colorado. They put up 8 against Montreal. All these teams are going to have these moments in time where they only score, 1 goal in 3 games. I 6 with the Vegas Golden Knights. That's my second best bet on the card.
All right. My best bet on the card is actually in this game, and it's such a best bet that it's actually for sale at WagerTalk.com. But I do like the over 1.5 in the first period in this one. And I've been on a good roll with these 1.5 first period bets. I went 2-0 yesterday with these. And here's the deal, guys. When you got a team coming off a long and disastrous road trip, besides the thumping against the Montreal Canadiens, Seattle had looked brutal in their last handful of games. They're going to want to bounce back big, because it's one thing to get embarrassed against your on the road, but to get embarrassed at home is way different. So they're going to want to come out firing right now. And right now, Vegas's top guys are playing really well. Jack Eichel, Mark Stone, all these top guys, the goal scorers for them are scoring, and they're scoring early in games. So the over 1.5 in the first period is a very reasonable minus 125 price tag. I like that one quite a bit. That would probably be my favorite first period bet of today here on Friday. And on Carmine's behalf, with the ladder challenge, the final step, might I add, for his ladder challenge, 480 to win 528. Golden Knights team total over 3.5 plus 110. Kraken first home game off a 5-game road trip and 4th game in 7 nights. Carmine likes Vegas's team total to get to at least 4. And I love that number, plus 110 as the price. Good luck, Carmen. Hopefully we can close things out in the ladder challenge. All right, let's go in reverse order. We'll start with you, Prez. What do you have up for grabs at wagertalk.com for this weekend? Besides your personal plans, what are your betting plans for this weekend?
My personal plans these days are my betting plans, which sucks for my sex life, but that's a different story. I'm glad you asked, Andrew. A couple of days ago, I begged. And I mean, I begged so hard. Carmine called me up and he's like, you need to do like a segment where it's like the begging segment. Like I was like, please buy my plays. I came up with a promo, PASS3, PASS3. You get 3 days for the price of 1. $39, 3-day all access for the price of 1. That is still live, still active. It is PASS3. And I pleaded. I mean, I was like on my hands, please, please, please buy it. I feel it. I'm going to kick ass. I know I'm going to kick ass. Anyway, long story short, I'm 10-2 in my last 2 days. And you know what? So are all the wonderful people who purchased that PASS3 package. That is correct. I am 10-2 in the last 2 days. What do I have going tonight? I got a gigantic, colossal card. I got another 6-pack of plays. I got 1 NHL, 1 college football, 2 NBA, and 2 college basketball. You can get all of that for $29, or you can just use the damn Pass 3 and get the next 3 days all access. And tomorrow I have a 5% play in college football. So please use that promo code Pass3 and let's all win together.
Prez, you're one of a kind. You're one of a kind. His best bet today, guys, on the show is the Vegas game over. Vegas and Seattle over. Best of luck this weekend, Prez, and I will advocate for those 3-day passes. It's definitely nice. Andy, I know you're a fan of those as well, and you always have something for us, whether it's a big game or a big card coming this weekend. What do you have up for grabs this weekend, man?
We got a 4% UFC best bet. We got a 4% college football best bet. Those go off on Saturday. And we are running a darts special, Andrew. Yes, you heard that correct. Now until the end of the year, $49 for darts plays. I know it's NFL. I know it's college football. I know it's NBA, NHL season. From now to the end of the year are the 2 biggest darts tournaments of the year. We cash on these every year. We're 20-9 this year in this sport. I worked with Johnny and Marco and Ralph on this, and they were like, you got to run a dart special from now until the end of the year. We'll make it 99. And then it was like, no, make it 49. So you're going to get probably 15 to 20 plays starting tomorrow. I know it's a sport that people don't watch. You don't have to watch it. We'll watch it for you. We know all these players. And Andrew, this is a sport that the books just are not paying that attention to. You can get such soft lines on there because the books are dialing in their NFL numbers and their NBA numbers and everything. And this is just right in our wheelhouse. A sport that nobody's paying attention to. That is how we cash. Like I said, we've had 29 plays this year. We've won 20 of them. So you can get that. You don't have to watch the sport. Just put the plays in and cash with us. So that's no promo code needed, WT.buzz/AL.
Andrew, if I can just jump in really quick. I have a 1-month dart special for $48. And basically I just steal
Who's the number one player in the world right now?
Basically, I just steal Andy's plays and I give it out.
Doesn't have an answer. No answer for you, Andy. Andy, do you ever play?
I didn't even know they called. Why do they call dart players? They should be like dartists.
That's you at your best. The dartists. Yes.
And the other thing is, I love all these names like, Wash Redskin. He's always here every day. We know why he's Wash Redskin. He likes the Washington Redskins. There's a guy in our chat room with the name Moon Bull. Moon Bull. What is the genesis of that name? Like, how did he come up? Like, Moon and Bull, there's no correlation. How do you come up with the name Moon Bull? Sorry. I'm curious.
There's a lot of usernames that I wonder if they just hit like a random generator before they made their name. But nonetheless, we're happy to see them. And Prez, a lot of people that are here with us right now are going to be there with you in a half an hour's time on WagerTalk today, which you guys can all tune in for as well. But guys, really enjoyed the show. For me, I'm going to continue to promote that Puck7 promo code, Puck7. 3-in-1 day yesterday. Hit 2% plays, hit my 5% play, and lost the 1%. I know we're not supposed to say this, but if there was one play I was fine with losing yesterday, if I was going to lose one, it was the smallest one. It was the 1%er. Where we hit the 5, we hit 2%. Feeling good about tonight's play. I got one best bet up in the NHL. And guys, every single Saturday since the season began, I have been doing an every game on the board video that gets released Saturday morning in the NHL. You guys have really been liking it. The love has been awesome. All the likes, all the comments. Tune in tomorrow. I like Saturday's card. We're going to give all kinds of best bets and a special promotional code for the remainder of the NHL season in that video. But guys, when it comes down to it, when you look at today's slate, I think the best bet for the show is going to be the Leafs and Detroit over 6. I challenge the Maple Leafs to put back-to-back good defensive efforts out there. And I also challenge the Red Wings to put a good defensive effort out there when they aren't playing a team like the Hawks or the Sabres, because things are going to go a little bit different for them playing a team like the Leafs. Over 6, Red Wings and Maple Leafs, my show best bet. Guys, you can get Prez, you can get Andy, you can get Carmine, you can get myself over at WagerTalk.com. We're all wishing you a great, great weekend. Best of luck, and we'll see you Monday right here on Puck Time.